Happy video day, guys. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about a product that honestly I haven't heard that much about this specific one, and I really think that you guys need to take a little look at this thing because it's really pretty. So the palette that I'm talking to you guys about is this little guy right here. This is from Nars, and this is a face palette, and the style that I got is in Hot Nights, and it looks just like this. This is a really cool face palette. It's multi-use. It's supposed to be used for a bunch of different things, and it just released from Nars. It came in 2 different styles, and I totally think this is something that we need to get into, guys, because I'm telling you, this is pretty good. So before we get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, I'm Christina Brooke and this is the Glam Ranch. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave the channel so that you can find me again. Let's go ahead and let's get right into it. Okay, so let's first start off with the outer packaging like always. So when you get the packaging, it does come in this peachy colored Nars exterior packaging. I believe that both of the versions of this same palette both come in a very similar packaging. So once you pull the packaging out, you get this beautiful Nars packaging. This is a hard, heavy duty case. It has this beautiful peach background and it does say Nars across it. And when you guys open this up, holy cannolis. I mean, I'm honestly very impressed. This is a very large face palette. You get a beautiful bronzer, you get a highlighter, and you get 4 shades above that can be used for the eyes, but you can also use them for your cheeks. So this is a multi-use face palette, and the mirror in here is really good. This is a good face palette mirror. It's basically the size of the palette. There's no gimmicks around it. It's a huge mirror and you see your entire face inside of this face palette mirror. Very clear mirror. The packaging, the layout, the mirror, everything in this palette is 100% on point, and I think it's absolutely totally perfect. So this palette is coming in 2 different versions. There's a version that I picked up which is called Hot Nights, and there's also the version called Summer Lights. I believe that the Summer Lights one is a little bit of a lighter packaging than this one, but they both look very similar. If you look at the 2 different palettes, the one that I purchased is supposed to be more of the dark version. So these palettes aren't set up how you would typically see, that you think that this would be for medium to deep skin tones and the other one, the Summer Lights, would be for lighter skin tones. It's not really set up that way, because when I was looking at this in store, I said, wait a minute, these colors would totally match my complexion. None of these are too dark for my skin tone. And when I looked at the Summer Lights one, the bronzer almost looked similar in shade. It was not that different either. And this highlighter in this palette is not too golden toned. So these palettes both would work for fair, light, and possibly medium skin tones. After that, I am not 100% sure. The bronzer might be a little bit too light for deeper skin tones. However, the rest of the colors would probably work, but I think the bronzer is probably a little bit too light. So just in case you guys are looking at both of these palettes and assuming that because you have light skin, you need to buy the Summer Lights one, that's not the way that this works. The Hot Nights totally works, and I feel like it was more of a day to night play on a palette than a skin tone play on a palette. So now when I was looking at both of these, the one that called my attention was Hot Nights. And the reason that this one called my attention over the other one was because I am so used to face palettes, guys, being for the day. If you look at almost all of our face palettes, I'm going to show you guys like a few examples. Charlotte Tilbury. So the Charlotte Tilbury one that just came out, very day. The Smashbox Cali Contour that I love, very day. Cover FX palette that we just finished getting inside of our BoxyCharms, very day. The Après-Ski from Becca that released last year, very day. So as you guys can see, a lot of face palettes are aimed for day. I believe that when they create face palettes, they kind of just think like, oh well, this shouldn't be like a bronzy kind of natural day look face palette. And I think that's what a lot of brands do. So when I saw this, I said, huh, you're different. I don't have you. I don't have a face palette that I can take on the go and literally give myself a sultry look and literally just jump into one palette for my entire face. So that really got my attention, and I was like, Hot Nights is for me. So this palette does retail for $59 US, and I'm gonna go ahead and read to you a few things that it says on the Nars website. So this is a limited edition palette, and so is the Summer Lights palette. So this is described as a highlighting face palette that adds instant warmth and radiance to the eyes and cheeks. featuring 4 eyeshadows in cult classic matte and shimmery finishes and complementary bronzer and highlighter to heighten and brighten. I was very excited to try this out. As you guys can tell, I really wanted to see how smoldery of a look can I get. You guys are looking at my smoldery look right now, and I think that you can get a very smoldery look, which I think is incredible. So what I did to apply this today is I went ahead and first decided, let me get my eyes done, because this is an all over face palette, so I might as well get my eyes done with this palette. So the first thing that I did, I went into this shade right here. I'm not gonna say the names because I don't want to confuse them. So I just jumped in this shade right here, put that into my crease. This shade does have a little bit of like a satiny kind of texture to it. So when I was putting it on, it is not shimmery enough to be like, oh, you can't put that in your crease. It's not like one of those colors. You can totally wear this in your crease. So I put this into my crease and kind of worked it up just to give a little bit of dimension to what I wanted to do. Then I jumped into the darker tone right next to it and kind of just really worked that into my crease, kind of building up how I wanted my eye shape to look. And then after doing that, I said, all right, let's see how smoldering we can get, because this purple right here could break this entire palette. If this purple was patchy, if this purple didn't work good, the whole entire palette is gonna go bye-bye, because really this is what's making it into that kind of smoldery, kind of nighttime-esque look. So when I grabbed this one, I said, let's just pack this all on the lid. Guys, this shade is incredible. It blends beautiful. It is not patchy. This isn't even a matte shade. It's more of a shimmery matte, but when you're applying it, this blends really good. You can put it all over the lid and just blend it out, and it really works so great. I don't believe that any of these 3 shades up here are too like shimmery or shiny. They look really nice. So I blended that all over the lid, and I was like, okay, we're really getting smoldery here, and it really looked pretty. I could have even taken it up another notch and really layered on that purple even stronger, but I liked the look that it was already giving me, so I stopped. Went ahead and put some concealer under my eyes so I could start working on the lower lash line. With a tight brush, I went ahead and grabbed this color one more time, tight lined underneath the eyes, and then to kind of smoke it out a little bit more, I just grabbed this color right one more time, and I kind of just blended that underneath my lower lash line to kind of like bring the purple and the pinks together and kind of give it more of that sultry look. And I am obsessed with everything. I think it looks so cool. I honestly really love the colors in this palette, and I can totally see myself using this. Another little key thing for this palette was this bronzer to me needed to be a bronzer that gave me a bronzed look, because when we're talking about nighttime, we're talking about wanting to look bronzy. You don't want to have a really light bronzer when you have a smoldery palette. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was thinking like this better give me like the right amount of bronze and not give me too bronze and then not be like, where's my bronzer? Guys, this bronzer is beautiful. It really is so pretty. I feel like I got a really bronzed look. It's not orangey. It's the perfect warmth to my skin tone. It gave me such a beautiful bronze. I am obsessed. Like, I have some other palettes that I love the way the bronze looks, but it's more of like a natural bronze. Like, it's a bronze that I would love to wear during the day because it just gives me a nice bronze. This bronzer is just like, look at this. Like, I feel like I literally look darker, but at the same time, I don't look like I tried too hard. It's just a beautiful bronze. This is beautiful. So then after I used that, I said, all right, let's try the highlighter. So far, so good. Another thing I'm expecting for this highlighter is for it to be a little bit more reflective. This is a nighttime palette, in my opinion. That's what I want it to work for. When I put it on, I'm not let down, guys. This highlight is beautiful, but like so pretty. This is like one of those like wet looking, non-powdery, kind of like melts into your skin, but still you look reflective highlighter. Look at that. It looks so incredibly gorgeous that I was like, okay. Then I finally said, you know what? Let's use this for the cheeks, because this color here to me, guys, could totally work for my cheeks. So I got a smaller brush, dipped it in here, put it on the cheeks. Beautiful, beautiful cheek color. I love it. This color also would work on my cheeks as well, but I wanted a more vampy cheek. So I did put it on my cheeks and it looks incredible. This is the last color. Let's throw this into the inner corner. We have an inner corner highlight, and then I also used it on my brow bone. And guys, this is such a win. I absolutely love this palette. I love every single shade in here. This palette to me is a total 100% win when applying it. The only complaints that I would have, if there was any at all, is this color and this color are very similar. I would have maybe have preferred if this would have been a really, really white highlighter looking shade to put into the inner corners and really give a little bit of a extra something to the eye. Maybe that would have been something I would change. So that's basically the only thing I would say, because honestly guys, I really love this. Now, if you guys are concerned of using these as blushes and thinking your blush brush won't fit, my brush fits perfectly into here and I'm not getting any other product on it. So the size of these eyeshadows were perfect to use them for multifunction, which is what they wanted. Right now what I'm going to do is answer some of you guys' questions that you guys had about this palette. So one of the questions that you guys asked me was from Jessica Figueroa on my community tab, and she's asking, is this like the Hourglass Locked palette or Too Faced Sugar Peach? I think she means the unlocked palette from Hourglass. Now, I don't own either one of those palettes, but I do remember them, and I did refresh myself by looking at the images. And what I can say is for this one, the Hot Nights specifically, the Summer Lights is a different version of this one, and I can't really speak for that one. But the Hot Nights one, like I said before, this is primarily focused for like a more sultry kind of night look. And the Hourglass Unlocked palette is, so the one that I think you're referring to has more like the day type of look to it. Like I was looking at the image and I was like, yeah, I remember this palette. It had more of like, kind of like you're gonna get like that sun-kissed, very beautiful natural look. And this isn't what this is. And then I looked at the Too Faced Sugar Peach as well, and that one also just reminds me of a very dayish kind of palette, very like peachy and cutesy and beautiful, but just not what this is. So then on Instagram, I did get a question from Drop of Vision, which is Karen. Hello, Karen. She's asking me, what can each shade be used for? And that's actually a really good question. So I was really actually super excited to see that one, because I think that there's a lot of things that you can use these shades for. This shade here, which is the bronzer, you can also use this as an eyeshadow. So imagine if you wanted to do something a little bit more natural looking with this palette, you can grab this, put it all over the eyelid, kind of move it into the crease. You can grab any of these colors to put it down on the lid. If you want a more natural look, you can aim towards these colors here. If you want a more sultry look, you can jump into these here. So I feel like every single one of these eyeshadows for sure. Bronzer, that's the only one you're going to be able to use for a bronzer. For a highlight, you can use either one of these. I think this is way too dark. So these two actually both work as highlighters. When it comes to blush, these two right here, total blush shades. You can totally get away with it. Love this color for a deeper blush. And then this one here is definitely primarily an eyeshadow, but you can also use this as a liner. So let's say you wanted to smudge it into the lash line to just kind of have like a smudged liner effect. You can totally use that to do this. So the rest of it can kind of be very natural looking, and then you can just smudge this into the lash line to kind of give yourself like a little bit of a smoldery look, but not too much. So these are definitely universal. You can use them for a lot of different things, and that's what I kind of really like about this, is that you can take it with you on a vacation that you know that you're gonna have like some night looks, and you can pop this out and just use this palette. Like, I don't want to leave out, guys, that you can use this for day, because you totally could. There's a lot of colors here that can work for daytime and it'll still look beautiful for the day, but I just love that extra element of smolderiness for the night, which I don't usually see that often in face palettes. So guys, I have to tell you right now, I love this. The eyeshadows worked phenomenal. The bronzer blended incredible. The highlighter is sickening. This is a beautiful, beautiful face palette. I didn't try the Summer Lights one. I did see it in the store. It just didn't catch my attention. It kind of just was a little bit too boring for me. This is the one that I was like, oh, I like you. So anyways, guys, this is a total win for me. I love it. If you guys are looking for a palette like this, highly recommend that you guys pick this up. I really honestly don't think that this palette is getting enough talk as it should, because it's absolutely stunning. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope I was able to help you guys. If you guys have any other questions, don't forget to leave them down below. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.